It's Rangers Radio. Hello, hello, this is the Foreign Show. We're on air at 9 o'clock on a weekday night, taking calls from the mails. Hello, hello, it's Rangers Radio. Hello, hello, this is the Foreign Show. We're on air at 9 o'clock on a weekday night, taking calls about the Jazz.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Rangers Radio. On the panel tonight, we've got our Fox and Blue Shadow. If you'd like to join us, it's 0141 356 1972, or you can Skype a friend request to rangersradio.online. Is that right, Fox?
Aye, nearly. After all these weeks, you're nearly getting it right, mate. Just contact us on rangersradio.online and I'll get you into the call.
Right. How are you, Shadow?
Hello there, True. Hello there, Fox. How are we doing this evening?
What was that?
So you get the flu or something, Fox?
Oh, is that Shuggy Keevins impersonation?
That's as good as it gets anyway.
Right, I want you two behaving tonight. I'm in a bad mood. Let's see the dinner she made me. I took a photo of it and sent it to social work. I'm sure it constitutes a hate crime. Beef stir fry my fat arse. But there you go, that's another story. Anyway, gentlemen, we get cut short last night. We couldn't get mentioning Daniel Candia's debacle, getting sent off for absolutely nothing against St Mirren at the weekend. What do you think, Shadow?
I mean, he went off the field of play, got booked for the first one. I mean, yeah, rules of the game. Yeah, that's a yellow card. But the second one, to get booked for getting punched in the face, it just seems like a little bit on the strong side to me. I think I'd be a wee bit upset about that if I was Stevie Gerrard or Daniel Candias. But I'm sure we could rely on the SFA to do the best for us, and I'm sure he'll be reprimanded and censured for his performance at Willie Collum at the weekend, and he won't be given a Champions League match tomorrow night at all.
Now, for those of you new to the show, there's no mention in the SFA this early. It's likely to get me ranting and raving, but there we go. Fox, what did you think of it? Did you see it?
Absolute shambles, mate. On the first booking about jumping the hoardings and going towards the support, some referees book players for it and some don't. There doesn't seem to be any consistency. I think in the Aberdeen match, the young boy Ferguson scored a goal, jumped to hoardings as well, but he didn't get booked. And I think that's what upsets. It seems to be book a Rangers player, forget about all the rest of them, you know.
Do the St Johnstone players get booked for doing it?
I think it depends on the referee, Shadow. I mean, some of them are sticklers for the rules. It isn't the rules that you should get booked. And we don't really have a complaint about Daniel Candias getting booked the first time because it is in the rules. But it's when you see other players. I watched Match of the Day on Saturday, and it was common amongst the players to run into the crowd and hug people in the crowd. Didn't see any of them getting booked. It only seems to be certain referees who are refereeing certain games that seem to take that as a must book offence, you know.
I just wondered if it might be if you're wearing a blue shirt you get booked or something. I don't know, that's just why I asked about St Johnstone.
See, the thing was, I know, but Fox, you've got to look at both sides of it. We're own, that's ridiculous. You should be able to run your own support, you know what I mean, and celebrate a goal or whatever. That's getting booked for taking your shirt off and all. What's that all about? But on the opposite side, the Hearts keeper, he comes out of the crowd last week and gets hooked. You know, so you can't have that both ways, but I would like clarification on why that rule is there in particular. You know, is it to stop inciting the fans? Is it to keep the players safe? I don't know. But that's the problem. But I saw the film of the one with Candias. No. It's St Mirren keeper, what's his name? Is it Sansom? or something.
Samson, aye, that's his name.
Right.
Aye.
Well, he's come out and says Candace was out of order, he was winding us up. What do you see Rangers playing? What they doing? Clown for Motherwell? What was his behaviour all about? Remember?
They don't seem to bother about it, mate, when it happens against us. As I say, certain referees, for me, I don't know, I used to think they were just all poor referees, but I'm getting to have second thoughts on it now. I mean, I looked at some of our bookings this year. There was 3 games, there was no bookings at the start of the Premier League this year. I think St Johnstone, I think Dundee, we had no bookings. And I think it might have been Livingston, we had no bookings away from home. But since then, we're averaging 3 bookings per game, mate. And I wouldn't say that we've got a dirty team, far from it. In fact, I always wish that our players would get stuck in a bit more. So we seem to be receiving bookings for petty offences, whether that's down to ourselves or this referee's been very fickle with us. But at the moment, I think we've had 25 bookings in 8 games, mate, which is absolutely ridiculous, you know.
Aye. Shadow.
Well, for me, I want to know why the St Mirren keeper wasn't booked for grabbing a hold of an opposition player. And it seems like, you know, if you're grabbing a hold of an opposition player like that, you should at least go in the book for it. And then the other guy, he grabbed a hold of him, punched him in the mouth. So that's 2 separate offences. That's 2 yellows for me. Why did he not get a red? As you say, one of the big things for me is the total lack of consistency in Scottish refereeing. It's absolutely abhorrent, and it's if we had a decent organisation in charge of Scottish football, they'd get this sorted out once and for all. But let's face it, we didn't.
Well, the thing is, you look at the Candace incident, and sort of come on to them later again, pundits. One of them says if he's seen it, he wouldn't have booked Candace. And if he's not seen it, that's even worse. And I think that's the situation there, Fox.
Candace done absolutely nothing, mate, to get booked for his second booking for the red card. We never even mentioned it on the matchday show, mate, because we none of us knew what it was for. We couldn't even comment on it because I seen nothing at the time. And then, as usual, you're thinking, is he missed after the referee or something? But for me, Willie Collum never even seen the incident, mate. Another guess, and he made a right arse himself. What surprises me is we're now at Tuesday, and not a word, either even an apology that we know of. I don't know if the Rangers board have contacted the Referees Association, but not even an apology to Candace, saying a mistake was made. Even if they can't rectify it because of the rules say that you can't rescind the yellow card, at least an apology would have started the ball rolling anyway.
I don't know how true it is, but I saw something that if the referee puts it in his report that there was an error in giving the card, that it can be rescinded. I don't know how much truth there was in that.
Well, I think it would be only common sense to rescind the card. The boy was absolutely not at fault. Willie Collum's the man at fault here, and I think at least an apology to start would be enough if we can't rescind the card. But I mean, it's like going to court and getting found not guilty, but we'll just give you 3 months, just all the same, seeing you're here. That's what it's like, isn't it?
I don't know, I was to say, his experience is greater than mine, obviously.
Aye. The thing is, how can they not rescind it, Fox?
Apparently it's one of the crazy rules that they've got, that you can rescind a red, but 2 yellows you can't rescind it. So
I'm going to tell you about their crazy rules. Illegal transfer bans. That wasn't in the rules. And there's common sense now come into this. They can get a compliance officer to retrospectively lay a ban or a suspension on somebody if the evidence shows they've committed some kind of offence. But if you've got evidence there that shows you've not committed an offence, how can that not be rescinded? It's ridiculous. There's this absolutely no application of common sense for them.
I'm absolutely shocked at you two. Are you saying they should make up rules as they're going along?
Aye, right. But you know where I'm coming from. You know, it's completely devoid of any common sense approach to it. You know, and I'll tell you what, another thing, no, the best way to get good refereeing and get every decision that's going, maybe you should cause a wee referee strike. That seems to work. If you look at the statistics between them and us, unbelievable. Absolutely. They get a record number of penalties in 1 year. You know, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking the way it's going on here. You look at Andy Halliday, somebody mentioned it last night, he played fist pumps the air against Morton, sent off. Absolutely ridiculous. So how can they no rescind the card? I think the club should be asking that question.
I would take it the club would have been in contact with them, mate, but probably we'll not get to hear about it, but I would think that they would have questioned the validity of the booking. Maybe we'll hear something later on in the week, but at the present time it's to sweep it under the carpet and move on for the SFA, mate, you know.
Shadow?
I certainly don't hold out much hope of anything positive being done from coming from this. I think we're just going to have to end up throwing the yellow card or the red card. I don't know if they would end up getting a match ban for that now or not. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. Because I certainly can't see the compliance officer doing anything about it, really, can you?
Aye, right. But even the manager, our manager's coming out and he's speaking about it. It's embarrassing. Have a look at it. It's embarrassing. This is Scottish football. This is a game you're showing to the world. Do you know what I mean? Unbelievable. But again, getting back to it, they're talking about training for referees. They're talking about this, that, and the other for referees. It's absolutely shocking, the standard of refereeing, the inconsistencies. We can mention Andy Halliday. Okay, we're mentioning all Rangers incidents because that's the team we watch. The incident with Andy Halliday, and we see, you know, that we can guess. You know, you start to say to yourself, hey, come on here, what's going on? And I've never been one for going down the road of conspiracies and all that in terms of refereeing, you know, but it's starting to get a bit dodgy, Foxy.
Aye, it's all these bookings mount up, and we're coming into a really busy period. Before the end of the year, I think we've got something like 13 games between now and the end of the season, end of the year, mate. I think it's 13 games we've got, and we've got Morelos sitting in 4, Goldson on 3, Barisic on 3, Halliday on 3, Scott Arfield on 3. Some of these are vital players to our team, and they're picking up stupid bookings for me anyway. I mean, even Ryan Jack was totally shocked at getting booked in that Hamilton game the Smyrna game as well. I didn't really see what Arfield got booked for either. And it seems to be we commit a petty offence, we're booked, but the opposition can kick and go through our players willy-nilly and no cards handed out half the time. You know, there seems to be a bias by referees towards us.
Shadow?
I totally agree with what Fox just said there, but there's also as well the flip side of the coin, if you will, where certain players, and one, I'm sure you all know who I mean, that springs to mind, who goes around flinging elbows, and there's claret everywhere, and yet he doesn't even so much as get a booking. And I think a word that Fox used earlier, the lack of consistency is what really galls you more than anything else. If, you know, for example, every time somebody jumped over the hoarding to celebrate a goal, they got a yellow card, that's fair enough. Everybody knows rules. You didn't do it. That's just the way of it. You might not agree with it, but at least you know the rules and the way they've been applied. But when you've got some people getting booked, some referees booking them, some not booking them, and different discrepancies between actually which teams are booking players for, it appears, then I think there's really seriously needs to be questions asked, and I think our board should be in about this. Not the manager, because the manager could get himself into trouble, but the chief executive officer should be approaching the SFA at the next board meeting and going, what's this all about? This is not on. And if you've got to use a bit of publicity and get yourself in trouble doing it, then do it. You know, because that's the only way that it seems to affect that board in any way, is bad publicity.
What do you think of Gerrard's making of the refereeing, Fox?
Well, you heard these words after the game, that it was a ridiculous decision. And I think he did say as well that this is what we're up against. I think he made a comment, something similar to that. I think he understands how bad the refereeing is up here. Probably if he was comparing it as a player down south, where when he was playing, I thought the standard of referee back then was a lot better. He used to talk to the players instead of lecturing them like we schoolboys, which seems to happen now more and more. That the players can't have a word in their ear or vice versa. You know, it's just that you're not allowed to speak to them up here. There is no communication between the referees and the players, and I think that's a thing that's sadly missing out of Scottish football.
Shadow, what do you think Mr. Gerrard makes it?
I think he's dropped a couple of bad comments once or twice. There's a couple he's lost his cool and nearly got himself in trouble, but managed to just keep a lid on it and stop himself. But there's been a few times that everybody knows what he's talking about, but he can't get himself into trouble. I think he's handling it quite well. He's been warned about it and warned what he'll get himself into trouble with. But he's quite right. They wouldn't hesitate to drop a banning order on him on the touchline or anything like that. So I think, as they say, Mr. Robertson, get in about them, get it sorted, because if you don't do anything, they'll just let it keep going.
Aye, well, that's the thing, eh? 0141356 1972. What's the other one, Fox? Foxy?
You can contact us on Skype at rangersradio.online and I'll bring you into the call.
There you go. So if you want to join the panel, come in and give us pelters or agree or disagree. It's up to you as long as you do it respectfully. Anyway, folks, Steven Gerrard's coming out. You know, it's been long discussed on here, and we've been joined by Big Ulster. What kept you, big man?
Oh, these kids of mine, mate.
Right, that's plenty. Stop moaning.
Exactly, let's move on to Rangers. I'm moaning about Rangers.
Wait, you hear about my dinner, mate? Anyway, Steven Gerrard's come out and he spoke about teams and how they set up against us, and you know, it's up to us to break it down and everything else. I think basically what he's saying is that football and coming to play like that is, well, we done it in the run Manchester, we know that, but my God, I wonder what he's thinking about it. I think he's as good as saying our football's absolutely dreadful at times, you know, Fox.
I just think he sees what the players are up against, playing against 10 men all behind the ball all the time. And we're not the most patient of fans. If we're struggling to break down teams, you get a lot of howls of derision coming for the support, mate. But it's a hard job for the players trying to break these sides down. We keep talking about it in here. We haven't got great quality in the side. But we don't help ourselves, or we weren't helping ourselves in the previous few games where we shifted the ball too slowly and didn't get our men moving about quick enough and shift the ball quick enough. That's one way you can break them down. And it's going to be a struggle. We've mentioned it last night in other programmes as well. It's up to us to break them down, because they'd quite happily sit in there if they thought there was the remotest chance of taking a point off us, mate.
Shadow?
I see, folks. See if you didn't burst out laughing, it helps when you're trying to stir it, mate. Just a quick tip. I would say that really the football up here has been appalling. I mean, even if we signed Lionel Messi, he'd struggle against that lot, because the fact is that if you beat somebody and you go to go past them, they'll just chop them down, and you've got a good chance they're not going to get booked for it. It appears. Again, the referees come back into it yet again, because the amount of times we've had our skilled players and they've got, beating somebody and they're trying to go past them and they've got chopped in half. And it's just like, and the guy doesn't even get so much as a booking. It's no real. And the standard of Scottish football, and I've said it many a time, I don't know how much longer we are going to continue to get loan players if these referees do not give these players some protection. Because big clubs down south will not let their top loan players come up here if they think they couldn't get their careers ended by some half-wit cutting them in half because he's not got the quality to tackle them properly.
Well, that's something to consider and all, mate. Ulster, your thoughts, pal?
I just the same as the guys. I agree with both Foxy and Blue. I think Stevie G knows the crack. Like these teams they're not gonna change as much as we would like it from a football perspective, but they simply aren't gonna change. You know, they've got certain budgets, they can only bring in certain types of players, and probably playing against us, their greatest chance of getting anything is to sit in. As you said yourself, true, we've done that ourselves when we needed to. When we were in the European Cup run, and we've done it successfully, and unfortunately there's some teams getting a wee bit of success out of it from us, but it's just up to our team to just keep plugging away, keep trying different things, you know, instead of maybe always going the same way to the wings or whatever, you know, try and play through the middle, try and get, you know, someone with that creative spark to maybe play it through a nice ball to Morelos, etc. And just different wee avenues. And if you have to go with the long ball sometimes to say Big Lafferty and go direct, do that, you know, just switch it up and do what we can. I think once we get the first goal, you know, 9 times out of 10 we go on to beat these teams quite comfortably. But that's what's key, you know. But as a Foxy said himself, you know, we aren't the most patient a bunch, you know. Like after 45 minutes was on the Twitter, people were saying Grez does a tube and he's no good, you know, and that was after 45 minutes on a win Highland game, you know. So sometimes I think you just need to calm down, especially in players like him, because I think he'll come back, he'll come good as well. He'll be another string to a bow, hopefully, when he finds his feet, and hopefully he can be a creative player that can help unlock these defences.
I think that's what they mean in Allbutt, mate, when they talk about the weight of the jersey. You know, you've got to go out there, you're expected to win. So, you know, people say you're only as good as your last game. They say at Ibrox, you're only as good as your last pass, as far as I'm concerned, you know.
You're
but
right,
Shadow touched on something there, you know, the standard of Scottish football. Here's how you want to think of. Why would you send a player up here for any other country, Fox, for a loan experience? What would they get out of the Scottish game?
Oh, that's a hard question. How long have I got to think about it?
About an hour an hour and a half anyway, mate. So, and I'm cutting that bang on for the tunes.
They send them up here. Look, the boys that we've got up on loan have played in Europe this season. Big bonus for these young boys who would probably wait a long time if they were at their parent clubs. They've got that experience. That's on the plus side. On the downside, probably they could learn to defend themselves out in the park, because that's what they've got to do when they come and play for the likes of Rangers, as you were saying. It's a very physical league. Probably help them to build up their stamina if you're a young player. But they're not going to risk anybody on loan, mate, who's got real quality, mate, to come up here and get kicked to bits. But hopefully we can, with our manager, entice some more loans. I think the loan system is very important to Rangers at this present time, and hopefully we get better quality loans from the likes of Liverpool and some of the other big clubs down south.
Shadow, same question to you, mate.
It's very, as you said, the European football. I think that is the main benefit that clubs get from sending a player up here. You know, you're playing against a better standard. They're playing probably at a better standard than they would be if they loaned the player to the Championship, for me, even. Week in, week out, you know, so that's a fantastic bit of experience for them, and they get experience of travelling away and all the rest of it. So yeah, that's the positive side for me. The negative side for me, the other negative side is some of these, and the politest word I can come up with for them is hammer throwers, and they've been instructed to do this by their managers. I've no doubt about it at all, because they know they'll get away with most of the time, you could end up finishing one of these young lads' careers. So, yeah, if you remember a couple of years back, we looked at trying to get that Harry Winks from, was it Tottenham Hotspur? And Spurs went, no, and said, and sent him away to Germany. And he's just come back and he's just appeared in the Tottenham team again. So, as I say, I think it's already affected us. We won't get the top players up here because A, the standard of Scottish football, and B, the ridiculous level of physicality and lack of protection by Scottish referees.
Okay, somebody's crackling. We're getting a bit of noise here. What about yourself, Ulster? Why would you send a player up to Scottish football?
Oh, I don't know. Someone's crackling. I don't know who it is.
Rosie.
Well, for a start, you answered the question earlier. Maybe you said about the jersey and the weight of it. Where else are these players going to get the size of Glasgow Rangers in their lives again? Probably not. Like the young Liverpool players, they may go down to the English divisions. You don't know. Like, I wish them the best. Hope they stay in the Liverpool team and have great careers, but that'll be very tough for them. Like, you can send these players out to all these English, lower league clubs if you want, but it's very easy for them in those leagues and those clubs to have some good games, have some bad games, and flutter out of games. Whether if you're playing on loan to Rangers, you've got 50,000 supporters demanding the best every single game, and you've got that support. You've got the size of club. You've got us playing in semi-finals. You've got us playing in Europe. You've got us hopefully, or expecting anyway, as support to try and compete for the league. And I don't see any other club that can offer them that. So I know there's negatives with Scottish football, but there's a lot of positives that come to Glasgow Rangers. I would say that would be a great career start for any young player to play under those pressures, and I think that would help bring any of them on.
Do you think some of the, maybe in particular the English teams, are sending players up here that maybe we hope of offloading them?
Possibly, it's hard to say, Depends who it is you're coming up. I don't know, like Savajari and young Kent. I don't know what future they have at Liverpool. I'm sure any team that loans a player is hoping that they show something magnificent and can come back and benefit the parent club. But if it's all about money for us, is unfortunate too, isn't it? Because we would say Ajaria plays pretty well, has a really good season for us. It'd be very tough for us probably to try and get him because the clubs in the Championship and lower Premier League who maybe have more funds than us can go and nip them. So you may be right in a sense, mate, but I would say the ultimate aim for these clubs is for them to come back a better player for their own clubs.
I wonder. Shadow, what's your thoughts on it? Is it not a case of their parent clubs maybe try to offload them, mate?
I think you might have a point there. It's hard to tell. I mean, they'll send them up here. It's quite possibly with a view to, if we get them into particularly the Europa League and then they get on the telly, and we could possibly get a move for them, not only in the UK, it broadens the market abroad as well. It could well be that. Or if they do improve dramatically, then they will get a benefit out of them for their own team and say, we'll give them another go, and give them 2 or 3 games pre-season, perhaps, and they might give them 2 or 3 games pre-season before they even make their decision. Because certainly young Kent there, didn't do too good down at Bristol, but he's come up here. He appears to be upped his game significantly, so they might have another look at him. They may decide to just put him out, whether it's to us or whether it's to another team, I don't know. But or they may say, maybe there's someone in there. We'll just give him another year, like perhaps we gave Ryan Hardy another year at the start of this season to see if the lad can. Maybe if there's something there, I'm not sure what it is, but maybe we'll just give another year just to make sure that there is something or there isn't something.
What about you, Fox?
No, I don't think they send them up to offload them, mate. I think like Kent and Ajaria both signed new contracts before they came to us. What we seem to get is, at this stage, is players where they're not sure how their future's going to go. We're the first step of the loan market for a lot of these boys that we've seen. And when they go back to Liverpool, if they do go back to Liverpool, I think the next step for there is they'll farm them out to a European team, probably. I've seen that with a couple of young boys down south that they're starting to do that now with the technical players are going abroad rather than come to places like Scotland where it's a physical game. And it's just part of their development for some of these big clubs, you know. I could see us like to getting Billy Gilmore maybe, and maybe a year or two, if they start to trust the backroom staff up here, they know we've got good facilities, and he'll be looking to go out and loan because he's not going to walk into Chelsea's first team, so they'll be looking for a loan club for him probably within the next 2 years, and I hope he comes back to Rangers because he's a great prospect, that boy, you know.
I can't deny that one, mate, but, you know, I'm trying to think it the other way. I'm struggling here. I'm looking for a loanee, a player who's come up to Scotland and loan and went back and made it in England. You know, with his parent club or that. Is there anybody you can think of, Fox?
No, right off the bat, mate, because we're not getting the real quality players coming up young, mate. You know? It'd be different if it was somebody like your Harry Winks that you were speaking about earlier on, who's shown bags of potential. He's hacked it out in the lower league in England, and if we were to take him just before he went into the Spurs first team, it'd need to be somebody like that. At the moment, we're not attracting the real top quality loans at the present time, I don't think.
What about yourself, Shadow? Can you think MD's went back down being a major success, back in a parent club?
Oh, I can think of one where we go. And the boy at Madison, who's went on today quite well. Was he at Aberdeen? Was it Aberdeen he was at? And seems to be a prospect down there now. Is that right? Can you remember him, Blue Shadow? I think he was at Aberdeen, wasn't he?
Oh, I can't. Madison? No. I'm afraid I can't remember the boy at all. I must admit, I don't pay a terrible lot of attention to other teams bar our own. So yeah, don't know about him. I think we'll be very lucky to get Gilmore back. I think he'll go out to somewhere more technical. It'll be somewhere like Germany or Spain or possibly Portugal, one of the top Portuguese teams. I can't see him coming back. I can't see him coming to Scotland at all. And Harry Winks coming back before he goes to. He's already into the. No,
I know that now, mate. I was only playing that.
Aye.
Schmeichel was another one, wasn't he? Schmeichel, the goalkeeper, was up here. He went back.
I don't remember that.
I think he was with some like Falkirk or some Falkirk.
Aye. That kind of came to mind, Falkirk there. I don't know why, but there you go. What about yourself, Ulster? Can you think of anybody?
Well, none of the real top stars. You know, the top talent, but there's very few young ones make it in that league anyway. True, you know, because these clubs, you know, because they're so under pressure. There's so much money in that league, and young ones like look at Chelsea. I think they have something like 50 people out on loan. You know what I mean? So they're just all they're doing is they're taking up all the best talent and then farming them out all around the place and hoping a few of them become really good, but they never give you a real go because they need to be in those leagues, they need to be winning, they need to be in the Champions League, etc. And they're always going out and buying the finished product, you know, and which is very unfortunate, but that's just the way the game is there, mate. So I think it's hard for loan players to go really anywhere and come back and get into their teams, which is unfortunate for them, but I think that's a rule that needs changed as well. They're just taking up far too much talent. I think it should be spread around and let these young fellas actually be at clubs that want them and let them have a steady place in teams around the world.
Could this come out? Right, good memory there, Fox. 2007, Kasper Schmeichel played 15 games for Falkirk.
There you go, friendly ghost. The ones you know, the kind of legend is Alec McLeish trying to get two players for Barcelona on loan. It was Messi and Iniesta, apparently, but something happened at the last minute. In terms of Charlie Gilmore, guys, I've kind of read he's sniffing about the first team, or they've had him training with the first team and all the rest of it. Butterbean mentioned a guy, you know, was going to come onto there, you know, Gideon Zella, we had. I was talking of him being an ex-Pirlo. Where is he now?
I'm not sure. I think he went to Germany. I think. I don't know if it was on loan or a permanent move, but I haven't heard much about Zalewin. I'll check it out though.
Be yourself, Shadow. Can you think of him there at all?
Oh, I struggle to get. See, in Scotland, we seem to get players that are coming to the end of their career more than at the start of their career. You know, I don't know whether it's topping up the pension or whatever it is. You know, what was that guy that went to Falkirk, Ravanelli, and you know not Falkirk, it was Dundee, wasn't it? And they brought in so many of these old players on fantastic wages that they're bankrupted themselves. So it's sort of it's not very many top players that I can remember from that have come up on loan to Scotland. The standard of football is just no quite high enough for top players. I mean, especially when you could, like the likes of Chelsea, for example, that big centre forward they had that they sold to Everton, Lukaku, they sold him for £27 million or something along those lines, and the guy hadn't even had a first team start. So that's as you say, the level of money that you're looking at in the English Premiership in particular it's quite beyond belief. You know, considering I think they almost get as much per game as we get for the whole season.
Could you see us signing Kent and Ojaria? Possibly Koulibaly, Fox?
Out the three, I would say the one that we'd most likely to sign is Koulibaly, mate. And he's not exactly started well at Ibrox. Had a wee injury and he's not played so well since. I think Kent and Ajaria, with having long contracts with Liverpool, will definitely go back, mate.
Shadow?
I can certainly say it's signed in. I mean, the young lad Kent, he said he would quite entertain a move permanent move to Rangers. Seems to be, found something that suits him up here. Hasn't gone quite so well the last half a dozen matches or so, but I think that could be said of the whole squad. You know, it's not just Kent, it's not just Ejaria, it's not even the lad Koulibaly. So I would, Koulibaly's just coming back from injury, and as I said a couple of shows ago, I think there might just be something in the fact that we've ended up with too many players coming back at the same time from injury, and there's a number of them struggling for form, combined with perhaps some tactical changes from the opposition that's led us to struggle for the past month or so.
VSL Big Ulster.
Well, just quickly, because you asked about Zalewin, he's actually on loan again. The VVV Venlo, believe it or not, I never heard of him before. They play in that Dutch Premier Division. He's played 9 games, 1 goal. So that's where he is at the minute, still on loan. I think I would like to have Kent, to be honest. I don't know how much you would have to pay for him, though. I know his last loan spell didn't actually go too great for him. The last club he was at in one of English clubs, he didn't have a great time there, but he seems to have really been enjoying himself here, so hopefully something could be done there if the funds were available. Koulibaly, I think he could be another one. I've got to be sneaky, I think, anyway, that we maybe have an agreement there if we wish to, but that's just me speculating. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's another one we could if he improves. And I would say Ejaria, for me, he shows a wee bit extra class, I think, at times in midfield, albeit I would like him to pass the ball a wee bit more quicker than what he does. He holds on to it a lot, but I think he probably suits the style of football in England, so I would say out of the 3 he'd probably be the dearest and probably the one we wouldn't get. But Kent and Koulibaly, for me, I think could possibly be in our sort of budget.
I think maybe Rangers backroom team under Mark Allen, mate, are looking at players coming to the end of their contract and maybe taking them on loan, see how they do up here. And I think Kent and Ejaria fell into that sort of category. But Liverpool were smart, mate, and before they came up here, as I said, they offered them extensions to their contract, which must have floored us a wee bit, because we would be hoping to entice young boys like them coming to the end of their contract. A year's loan here, see if they fit in. It seems to be a way that we are signing players. And it's a good strategy to have, but I think, as I say, Liverpool gazumped us by seeking them new contracts, you know.
The thing with a new contract, Fox, we've mentioned that before, you know, that's the way they keep them in terms of getting money for them, you know, if they're under freedom of contract they walk, you know, so teams are not so daft anymore, pardon me, they're keeping them on a contract so they'll get something for them, Shadow, eh?
Yeah, that's the reason they put them on that. I say it could easily be the reason they put them on that 5-year contract. And as you say, as we were just saying earlier, with the amount of money that's floating about English football, they can afford to do things like that and take the chance that, you know, it won't work out and they'll just offload them at a later date to somebody else if it doesn't work out their way. With what interesting that people have brought up Zelalem, because I see a lot of comparisons with Zelalem and the lad Ejaria. Ejaria for me is the better player. He has more end product than Zelalem ever did. I never quite saw what Zelalem did, apart from stand in the middle of the pitch to, you know, give and go and look a bit stylish. Didn't seem to achieve very much for me at all. Ejaria does tend to be like that if he keeps coming back to deeper in the pitch to pick the ball up and move forward. And for me, he's very ineffectual there, and might work in Europe, don't know. But I think he was far more effective when we pushed him that bit further forward, because his lad's got quick feet, he has got a shot in him, and I think that's his position. We've just got to coach him to stay up there a bit more and not keep coming back.
The thing for me and Oz, mate, I think in fairness to Zelalem, he was playing in a lesser Rangers team, if you like. You know, I think Ejaria is playing in a better Rangers team, Ulster.
You want me to answer that question or your first one?
Two of them, mate.
Well, first of all, I'd agree with you with the Zelalem thing. I think I agree with you. Actually, I think Ejaria is better player, but I take where you're coming from as well. I mean, I think Ejaria is definitely playing with a better quality of player at Rangers than what Zelalem was, you know. But where Ejaria will go, you know, he's another one. Like, even though I think he's probably out of our bracket of payments, he's probably another one that'll be farmed out again. It mightn't be to us that we'll maybe pick a different league for him to give him different experience, you know. But I hope he does okay. You know, I think he can do okay for us. I think Truesray as well, or Blue Shadow, if he plays a wee bit higher up the pitch and he gets involved and he can beat players, and he's one of those type of players that you wonder how he keeps the ball, but he does, you know, with the big legs everywhere, but he always comes out with the ball somehow. It's just trying to get him up further to put that end product into the box for the likes of big or wee Morelos.
But the thing is, with the contracts, mate, you know, I'm convinced, well, I'm not convinced, I think it makes good business sense that the club gets their players onto contracts, you know, so they don't walk away for nothing.
Well, Bluey hit the nail on the head there, you know. We could not put somebody like say Doherty out in loan and give him a 5-year contract, you know, and we just could not do that, because if we're going to give someone like a long contract, it'd be in our team, likes of Middleton, you know, it'd be with us learning here at Ibrox. These clubs can do that. They can because if they put 10, 15 young players in those long contracts, if they get one out of that, great. If they get none, then because of the money, it's not a massive hit for them, because it's just you know, it's small fry giving these young fellas these contracts. However, for us, we could not sustain that. But the English Premier League's no different. That's why they've got all these like 50 loan players, like Chelsea. If one or two of them make it, great. If not, they'll just go for the next 50 in the next 4 or 5 years, because they can afford to do things like that.
You think there would be a limit on them or something, you know? Would you sign the 3 Fox, Kent, Ejaria and Koulibaly?
I would sign Ejaria. Kent is good in Scottish football. I wouldn't say he was a superstar, but I think Ejaria could go on. I'd love to see that guy in a good midfield, mate, with a bit of room. He turns and twists and makes room for himself, looking for a pass, but of course, when he's playing with Rangers at the moment, there's 10 men behind the ball. It's a lot harder to find a man clear that you can put a through ball to. I think in a good midfield, And I'm not running down our players when I say that. I'm just saying that probably if you seen him maybe in a championship side down in England, I think you would see Mary's skill. Because there's room to play down there. I know this is a wee bit off topic, but I watched Match of the Day on Saturday, and I'm watching again, and I'm saying this is a completely different game for we've got up in Scotland.
Aye, with that
Teams attacking each other, you don't see them all behind the ball, and it's like a different game through, and I think players like Ajaria revel in a bit of room and a bit of time on the ball, which he doesn't get up here unless he does come deep. And of course, that's no use to us. We need him up front in a bit of space. But I would take Ajaria before I would take Kent. I know a lot of people maybe doubt that, but that's who I would take because he's got the strength, the height, and he works so hard as well. I'm not saying that Ryan Kent doesn't work hard because he does, and he has got the skill for a winger. Probably he would do well with us, but out of the three, it would be Ajaria all day long for me, mate.
Yourself, Shadow, would you sign the three of them? Shadow? You on mute?
Aye, I'm doing a bridge, man, I'm sorry, but but yeah, as I said, strangely enough, I'd be the opposite way around. I think Ajaria's I'm not 100% sure on the laddie yet. He's got something. I say the last game for me, he showed a drastic improvement for me, and I was very encouraged, and I hope he keeps going that way. But he's got a bit to prove yet. Koulibaly, I don't know what's happened to the lad over the past month. Would I sign him at the moment? Probably not, unless he recovers a wee bit of form and convinces me that he is the player that he was when he first landed at Rangers. But so for me, out of the three of them, I think Ryan Kent is the one I'd go for at the minute. I think the other two have still got a bit too much to prove yet before I would say, yeah, I'd sign him. I'd leave it a bit of time yet before I made my decision.
All right, what about you also?
I think it would be signing Kemp. I like Kemp. I think he's a good young player. He didn't have a great start, but he's grown into it big time since. I think Koulibaly's actually the opposite. He had a fantastic start. We were all ranting and raving about him, and unfortunately, since he's come back from that wee injury he had, he just hasn't been the same player. So if I was looking at him now, I'd be a wee bit dubious. If he continues to play like this, I don't know if I would look into that one. But if he shows anything, the form he showed at the first games, I'd definitely, I would take him if the option was there. Ajaria is a cracker. I agree with Foxy, but I just think his game doesn't suit Scottish football. It's just too fast paced a game. People's flying in with tackles, and you don't get a time to play. But if he goes into a top Premier League side or any team in the Premier League, even lower end, I think he would have a really good career because he can hold the ball, he can beat players when he has to, but he likes that extra time in the ball. It works for us in Europe. I just think in Scottish football it's a wee bit harder, and Foxy's right. He says he watches Match of the Day and both teams are attacking each other. It's great free-flowing football, and that's correct. But then you've got Bournemouth and you've got teams like, I don't know, any of those lower end teams, they can go out, if they want, they can go out and buy somebody for 15, 20 million. You know what I mean? So they've got top talent that can play attacking football, even though they're a smaller type of club, but they can play top good football because they've got top good players and they can hurt these big teams. That's why you see some results going all different ways now. You see, like Leicester had a really good season, won the league, so they can afford to do that. Scottish football, you simply can't. These teams like Motherwell will never be able to get a top quality player, maybe a young player coming through the odd time. Likes of young Murphy, obviously he had a good career with Motherwell, moved down to England, but in the main they'll not be able to get these types of players, and that's why they work off their strengths, which is sitting back and trying to frustrate you.
See, I think Koulibaly's maybe still carrying a wee injury, mate. I think he was a cracking player. He was really, he was all over the park. He reminded me of Trevor Steven. I don't mean the same kind of player, but I mean he went about his work quietly. Trevor Steven was a man and all that, didn't he stand out? all that often in a match, but a great player. He went about, he was the reason he won the game at the end of the day, quite often. I think with Koulibaly, he does a lot of breaking up a play and things like that, but I think he could be carrying a wee injury. You know, and getting back to Zelalem, I loved him as a player. I thought he was a cracking player. No matter when he got the ball, he seemed to be in space and that. Najari is a wee bit similar, you know, but I would sign the three of them actually, because I think they've become an integral part of the team, Fox. The three players,
Well, the first two, Kent and Najari, are Koulibaly hasn't got the skill of the other two. For me, I think Steven Gerrard summed him up when he said he was a bit of a destroyer when he watched him before he came here in loan. Maybe it's a good defensive midfielder where he's suited in that role. Would probably we'd see a bit more of the player that Steven Gerrard. I don't think he offers anything going forward for his mate. He does look like a defensive midfielder in the midfield, try to go forward. I don't think he's got the passing ability or the, what would you say, the able to pick a pass out like a Jarrier.
Mm-hmm.
I think I see out the three of them, and he's the one we'll probably sign, but he's the poorest out the three for me.
Do you agree with that, Shadow?
I don't know. I mean, I remember when he first came, and the fact was that, he is a defensive midfielder. Let's start with that. That's what he is. I think part of the problem with him recently is we've been playing him too far forward, and when there's no space, he hasn't got quick feet. He hasn't got that's not playing to his strength. Play him in front of the back four, and that's where his strong point is. And he can win the ball for you. And not only does he win the ball, but he can drive. He's got such a fantastic engine on him. Normally, he drives up that pitch, and he creates panic in the opposition, and he creates space for other players as well, because they all come flying towards him to try and stop him, and it's dead easy to split, then to slip a ball out to Candias or out to Kent on the left hand side, and that is his forte. Anything past that, he was actually getting us to the odd goal or two, so he does have that in his game. What's changed? But I don't know, but coming late into the box is perhaps his strong point if he's going to score for us up there as the extra body. Anything else? Nah. Just keep him as what he's best. Player is what he's best at. Defensive midfielder. That's what he is.
Okay, mate. Ulster.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that, because at the start, before he got injured, he was playing that centre defence mid role, and I can't remember what team it was in Europe, but it was one of them. He done an absolute cracking tackle. Your man went flying, but he won the ball brilliantly. Last ditch tackle was fantastic tackle, and he was playing very, very well in that centre defence mid role. He was intercepting things. He was getting in about people, being a nuisance, really hard, helping his back four out. And I thought he was a cracking player. But since then, obviously, Ryan Jackson came back. He's been in that centre defence mid role. Obviously Koulibaly's been asked to play in a different sort of role because like Archfield, etc., were injured for a wee period there, so he had to sort of be thrown in there. And I just don't think it suits him. I think if he plays in the centre defence mid role, he's a better player. But I think Stevie G really likes Jack, so I can't see Ryan Jack being put out of the team too much for Koulibaly to play that position as going as a formation that we're playing at the minute. So we'll just have to wait and see how that develops.
Can I ask you a question too?
Go ahead, Fox. I better shut up the happy rum.
Just out of the three, who would you rather see at defensive midfielder, Ross McCrory or Koulibaly?
Koulibaly for me.
Ulster?
I don't know. I think Koulibaly was a bit. I enjoyed Koulibaly playing there. I like. I like both of them, to be honest. But I think Koulibaly looked better, more comfortable in that position when he was playing it at the start. At the very, very start, I thought he was really convincing. I liked him playing there. Yeah, so I'd probably go for Koulibaly, believe it or not.
Be interesting to see what the boys in the lobby, who they would pick,
Disagree with us, probably.
Wait, Koulibaly or McCrory?
I would rather see McCrory because his physicality, his power in the air is better than Koulibaly for me. I think the Rangers have took McCrory out the firing line, but it's because they're trying to teach him in the background probably. Gerrard had said that he had been no abused like some people would use that word, but he was abused earlier on in his career, asked to do too much, and I think they're working on him in the background. And if I had a choice, I would be taking Ross McCrory every time or Koulibaly.
Can I ask something?
Go ahead.
I just off the three of you. So, if you were, do you any of you think there's a, because I know Rossiter likes it, he's just sort of centre defence mid. Do any of you think he has a future? I hope he does. I think he's a good player, but a lot of players banned for one position, isn't it?
Yep, definitely. Sorry, mate, I'm laughing at that cushy number now.
I did emphasise that there was other version of the word that we used,
For me, the choice of Koulibaly over McCrory is the fact that McCrory does have this tendency, which he may have come out of with a bit of coaching and all the rest of it, but he does jump in, and he jumps in the wrong position at the wrong time and gives away fouls and silly positions, where Koulibaly tends to stay on his feet and only goes to the deck when he absolutely has to. As Fox says, against that is, I actually agree, McCrory is that bit better in the air. So that's the choice between the two of them for me.
Aye, well, it will be overwhelmingly. It's gone for Koulibaly, lads. You can see it for yourselves.
Oh, indeed.
Koulibaly's a man. But I think...
See, to be honest though, I hope McCrory proves us wrong, true.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Of course, mate. Of course
because he definitely showed things last season, to be that I think there is a real player there, because we were all excited about him. And I swear I hope he comes back and he's an absolutely outstanding player for us. I'd love nothing more.
Of course you would, mate. We're all the same here, but Fox and I were having a discussion earlier before we came in here, and we were talking about Ross McCrory, and we think very much the backroom are working with Ross McCrory. I'm always one that advocates if you're young, good enough, you're young, you're old enough. And I get that mixed up there, didn't I, Fox? But I'm happy they're developing the boy, because that boy could have got destroyed in a Rangers team. He could have come in there, and some of the games he was asked to play in and all the rest of it, we were expecting far too much out of him for his years, as far as I'm concerned. But getting back to Koulibaly, and we're talking about Ryan Jack and Ross McCrory, of course, I think again the 10 men behind the ball can nullifies a lot of their game, and I think that's why they look as if they're not having a decent enough game. But it'll be interesting to see on Thursday night when we play Spartak Moscow how Koulibaly performs if he's in the team, or how Ryan Jack performs. But we'll come back to that. We're nearly on the tunes, and I think that's got a big part to do with it.
What, the tunes?
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about the 10 men behind the ball. Sorry, Shadow, I know you're champing at the bit there. Go.
No, the one quick one before the tunes gives something to think about is because originally, as we said, Koulibaly was playing the central defensive midfielder role. We had Arfield on the left hand side, and we had Ryan Jack on the right hand side. Why did Gerrard change it round?
MD.
Maybe he just thinks Jack's a better centre defence mid. I don't know. Well, maybe that's the reason.
Just an interesting question, because for me, Jack is the better. When it comes to playing more expansively, Jack is the better of the two out of Koulibaly and Ryan Jack. He can actually, he can play better going forward. He can pick a pass. He has got good close control and all the rest of it. So for me, I'm certainly open. I'm not criticising. I just don't understand it myself. So it's something to think of while the tunes are on.
Oh, I would say that he uses Jack in the defensive midfielder, because the two centre halves are hopeless on the ball, mate, when they're bringing it out. I think Ryan Jack has got a wee bit of passing ability, and he comes deep to take it off of them, because they two just pass it amongst themselves, mate. And then inevitably, when they put the ball forward, we usually lose it. And I think that Ryan Jack was the safest bet to come and take the ball off them, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Aye, fair, we go for that. I never thought of that, but yeah, it's quite possible.
Anyway, gentlemen, if we can all go and mute, I'm sure Fox will have a musical ditty for us lined up.
See them march on, marching on through the years of history. Heads held on high, for the jersey they would do or die. Fight, fight for right, play the game with the badge of glory. Win, lose or draw, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you, loyal and true, on the way to cheer the boys in blue. Follow they will, marching on to the songs of glory. Win, lose or draw, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you, loyal and true, on the way to cheer the boys in blue. Follow they will, marching on to the songs of glory. Win, lose or draw, that's the Glasgow Rangers story.
Brilliant. Brilliant. They should bring that back. They should get the team making records all over again. They really should. It'd be excellent. You get me Alfredo on the panpipes and that for Columbia. Brilliant stuff. But we're talking earlier, lads, you know, when we keep bringing up the 10 men behind the ball, how can we get it out of Scottish football?
God knows. I don't think it'll change anytime soon, Drew. As the manager keeps repeating, it's up to us to break them down, and the only way we'll do that is get better at what we're doing at present. We work very hard, mate, and we try and find the openings, but it's a very hard task for a relatively young team put together in a short space of time. And maybe they'll find a way themselves. But other teams are not going to change, mate. They're not going to change at all. The only games of football we'll see this season for me is probably against Hibs and the Tims, mate.
Well, the point I was trying to make, Fox, wasn't so much just about us, but getting it out of the game altogether. I'll tell you what I would do. I would stop relegation for about 5 years. I would keep the leagues as is. That's how I would do it, and it would give teams a chance if they knew they weren't getting relegated. You know, I might be taking a chance, coming out and try to play a bit of open football. I think it's just an idea, Shadow.
For me, it's just like it comes down to finance. It comes out. We're going to have to change the the allocation of monies that comes out, your prize money that comes out, and give some of these other teams some more funding if we're going to increase, so they can buy better players and increase, and get, by improving that, then they might actually come out and stand a chance of a decent team of coming out and playing a game of football against us, instead of this. When we did it in Europe, it was called anti-football by some people. So let's use that term: 10 men behind the ball, anti-football, whatever you want to call it. I said the only way I can see out of it is giving these teams a chance to give us better competition.
Ulster.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be very, very hard because they're getting success out of it at the minute. Obviously taking points off us, so especially when they're at home. So they're not going to. I just can't see it changing. But maybe if the ones in charge of the league can actually come back with a good deal rather than a pathetic deal for the league, and then trying to polish it up as some success. If they can get more money into the league that way, it's going to be hard to do though. But I think we're getting the whole league's being undersold for me for them, because the amount of time Rangers and them are on TV, it's nearly every single week. One of the teams are on, mostly, Rangers are on all the time on TV, and the amount of money we get for that is pretty pathetic. So if we could somehow muster a better deal and distribute money, and then you can offer better prizes for, say, coming third, fourth, or fifth, and maybe I'll get those teams to, instead of trying to get 1 point, to try and get the 3 to try and get the better money, finishing higher up the table. But with the ones in charge of our game at the minute, unfortunately, I just have no confidence in them to go and get us a good TV deal. So unfortunately, I don't think it's going to really change for a wee while yet.
Or decent sponsorship or anything else, mate. I know what Fox is saying about the distribution of money in the game and things like that, and Blue Shadow's talking about. I don't see that happening, guys, because we're filling our ground week in, week out. Why should we maybe get the same money as somebody that's got 300, 400 people turning up at a game? It's at grassroots, it has to work. We need to do something to sort the league out. And the scary thing is, the support seems to be the only ones talking about it. As far as TV goes, they've covered the Rangers and Mirren game there at the weekend. You look at Rangers flying, playing well, and all the rest of it. You look at St Mirren, second bottom of the league, can hardly buy a win. Now, you're taking that on as a TV guy to say, this will be entertaining, we'll get a lot of goals here, and then you watch that. And it's not the only time this season. I think, to get decent TV, and you've got to be producing a decent product. And, that's how I'm looking at it. I don't know what you think, Fox.
I don't think you can take promotion and relegation out of football, mate. It kills it stone dead. What happens to the leagues below us, mate? You've got to, the whole league's got to be healthy, and you've got to have promotion and relegation for me. I don't agree with where these teams that are in the league just sit about for 10 or 20 years gathering up money, mate, because they're not getting relegated. I don't know how we solve it. Probably the only way you could force teams into it was for the large Rangers support not to travel to away games and give them money and force them into it. But that's not going to happen either. As the boys said, it's all about money, and all the teams being able to improve their sides where they think they've got a chance. I mean, we have played against teams in the last couple of years who have sat in against us, and then when the day come out they look quite good, and I think it's a shame. All they do is spoil it as a spectator sport, and it's the managers that are doing this because they're desperate for points. I don't know, I've never supported a wee team, mate. It's always been the biggest team in Scotland that we all support, but I would stop going to football if my manager was playing tactics like that all the time, mate, because there's no enjoyment in it, and it doesn't help the progression of the players either to sit in and do absolutely nothing. There'll be skillful boys in these teams, mate, that never get a chance to show their quality,
Shadow.
Just a thought there, is there perhaps too many teams in Scotland? Maybe if you had a few, amalgamate some of the smaller clubs, they might make a decent club between them. and there'd have to be some sort of cash incentive in order to get them to do it. Clubs that spring to mind would be something like Partick and St Mirren. Across in Fife, you could have Dunfermline and Raith Rovers going together. They're only 13 mile apart. Maybe that's sort of clubs you have to look at where, if you want to be part of the Premiership, you two will have to merge and give them some financial incentive to do it.
Also,
no, it's a strange one. But at the end of the day, these clubs don't help themselves because, Rangers is the biggest asset in Scottish football and the biggest selling point for your game when you're doing these advertisements and sponsorships, and they voted us out and laughed while they did it, missing out on so much money for the away gates. So, what can you do with a country, well, not just a country, but like the football clubs in Scotland, if they don't want to help themselves? That's why I wouldn't be a fan of giving them any much more than what they already see as in percentages, because they don't really deserve it. We're the big draw, and that's just the way it is. And I know where Blue's coming from. His points was like St Mirren, Partick, etc. But it's unfair on their support. I know it's maybe the benefit for that the two clubs if they come together. But if you've supported these clubs from a young boy, or it's tradition in your family, and you support, say, St Mirren, I think it would be hard in their support to give that away, and merge with somebody. It would be difficult for them to try and sell that to their supporters, I would think.
I know a couple of guys that are fanatical St Mirren supporters, and I mean, don't forget St Mirren.
Could you see them merging with Partick?
No, mate, no. I can't see it. I'll tell you why. I think it's a thing with fans. For me, if you're a Partick supporter, and we'll use St Mirren as a Partick and Clyde, we'll use Partick and Clyde, two Glasgow clubs. If you've been a Clyde supporter all your days, or a Partick supporter all your days, and they two teams merge, that's two sets of supporters or teams don't even exist anymore, folks, eh?
I think it could work the opposite way. Inverness done it, sure, and it worked reasonably well for them. But you might end up with no supporters supporting the new team, mate, because as you say, if you're a Partick Thistle supporter, you maybe not want to go and watch a new merged team, mate. That's the way you'll probably chase the little support that they've got out the game. And what they need is, they need to work harder to entice their own fans in to make money. If you ever look at Dundee, that Scabia club, Dundee United, I meant to say there, but they should be doing better. They need money. They should be trying to entice their crowds in. And they used to be a decent sized team in Scotland, and have fell by the wayside with bad management and probably money troubles, like all clubs go through it sometime. But I don't see them coming back unless somebody with money buys them. And it's a shame, because that was another game everybody looked forward to beating them, But some of the wee teams, as you say, mate, you're looking at crowds at some of these games. There was an Aberdeen Hibs game no long ago in the League Cup, mate, where there was about 7,000 at it. And the prices are too high. I think that's the problem. The prices of Scottish football is too high. People have got other priorities. The conditions at these grounds are terrible. Kids don't want to go and stand out in the rain and wind, and they want something else. They need to improve their own standing themselves. We can't help them out, because clubs like us are trying to improve all the time, and we need all the money that we can gender. And besides, not one of them ever gave us a hand or stood by us when we get into trouble there. I don't care really what happens to them. It's survival of the fittest in football now, and some of them might go to the wall, but some of them might recover.
I remember.
That comes to my point.
Sorry, go ahead, also.
No, just saying, that comes to my point as well, there that I made a wee second ago. Dundee United's a prime example. A club that, needed money, probably a certain amount of money coming through all the time, and they decided to cut their nose off, despite their face. Oh, we can kick Rangers down the leagues. Oh, isn't this fantastic? And now look at them. they're a basket case. And they're going to be a basket case for a long, long time because they could have got the away support coming every so often, and we know that's a big game. And they turn out, they always did when Rangers came up, they came out from the woodwork to watch the Rangers. The Rangers fans turned up, and it was another, money flow going into their club that they were getting every season, and they decided to kick that down to the bottom of the leagues.
Aye, Shadow, do you want to come in there?
Oh no, I was just having visions of Mrs. Bridge having the defibrillator machine out with Bridge sitting listening to this in Spain.
Bridge would be going nuts.
But the thing is, it's not as far-fetched as you're thinking, mate. You know, we go back to the 80s, they remind you, Dundee and Dundee United weren't far away from it. And then with Hearts, Wallace Mercer, if you remember, was going to buy out Hibs. And apparently that was very close to being a done deal. You know, and we've seen the uproar that it was safe Hibs and, hands off Hibs and, Dundee and Dundee United were at loggerheads as well. But, it was a distinct possibility back in the 80s that clubs could get together. Now, you're talking about the likes of even Hearts and Hibs joining up. You've got one club in a major city. It doesn't guarantee success, mate. You look at Newcastle, for instance. I've heard people talking about what a driving force Rangers and Celtic would be if, the two of them joined up. It's never going to happen, we accept that. But it's not a given, and I think Newcastle are an example of that. One major team in a city, and they're not doing much, really, are they?
We've already seen the future, mate, when that document got leaked about the Super European League. Things will change in the next 10, 15 years, where I don't think the likes of us and the Tims will be too worried about Scottish football. We'll move on, and they'll go back. They'll just carry on with a smaller league. That's the future, mate. I don't know what league we'll move into, but obviously I think we will move on. If the top clubs go to England, will there be room for a British league? I don't know. They're talking European leagues, everything else. I think the way football's gone, it's a definite that there'll be a change in the European scene in the leagues in the not too distant future, mate. And these clubs will just get left behind. That's all I see as in the future of football.
Shadow?
You could well be right, because there was that talk a while back of the Atlantic League, wasn't there? There'd be the likes of Ajax, Feyenoord, ourselves, plus, the Mankey one weren't included in it at that time. I should imagine, some of the smaller German, middle Dortmund clubs like that, perhaps. So there's enough sort of, almost like if this new league's a sort of Champions League type effect, this would be almost like a second tier Europa League, and we could go to the satellite companies and get a far better deal than we would ever get for Scottish football, for me.
Oh, sir.
I think Foxy's right. The clubs are. I think clubs are trying to do that. The way football is now, it's not really a sport as such. A lot of it's to do with business and money. And I think that's what the top clubs in England and Germany will probably try and push eventually, because they probably don't want Bayern playing Frankfurt or Manchester United playing Bournemouth. They'll want the big clubs playing each other as much as they possibly can. And I would say their greed will probably push them there eventually, But for me, maybe it's an old romantic type of thing, but I just love the fact that we play in Scotland, and that's where we are, that's where we're based, we win the most titles here, etc. And I enjoy all that, and I enjoy it, But I think that's something that'll maybe eventually will happen. Foxy's probably right. Football will probably move on through the times and maybe change, I hope I don't see it, though. I just like where we're playing, to be honest.
I've always been opposed to Rangers moving to England, because whether we like it or not, guys, we've been used to winning trophies. Every year we're competing, in normal times, if you like. We've been competing for trophies and all the rest of it, and I think we'd be also runs down there for a lot of years. I don't think Rangers or Celtic indeed have got that at the draw maybe we think we have outside of Scotland, Fox.
It depends what sort of league is for them, mate, and whether it's enticing to the public. I think most Rangers supporters would like to see is in another league out of the grasp of the SFA, mate. I don't know what kind of league will come forward, but somebody will propose it, and we will be included in some sort of forum as we go forward. Scottish football doesn't attract money, and the only way to attract money is TV and sponsorship. I think a lot of people think that we missed the boat during Murray's reign when there was a chance of us moving on out of Scotland. But that boat has now sailed now, and it just shows you for me where teams down in England in the Premier League earning all sorts of money feel as though they need to move on. Your Spurs, your Arsenals, and your Man City, Man United, that they need to move on. So we'll be in a league under all that somewhere in Europe or in England anyway. I just don't know when it will happen, but it will certainly happen.
Shadow, you see it?
On you go, mate.
Do you think we've got the same draw outside of Scotland as maybe we think we have? You know, Rangers and Celtic.
I think there is generally a European interest. Well, European interest in the Celtic Rangers games. So yeah, there is a draw in that. I mean, but I think perhaps not for the pure footballing reasons more than anything else. I think the modern games differ somewhat to the ones that were in the 80s that were a bit, 100-mile-an-hour tackles going in like nobody's business, people getting booted 6 foot up in the air. And I think that's what attracted the huge viewing audiences that the Old Firm games got in that time. Whether they still get that amount of people, I don't know, because now we've got, we've been back a couple of seasons in the Premier League. Will they keep dropping off? Will the figures drop off? Now people are getting used to it and it's still the same as it used to be? I don't know. I guess time will tell, and really.
Hard, Blue Shadow, what league we're in. We're not moving the whole club, we're only moving competition. We'll still fill Ibrox no matter what league we're in. And,
I wasn't saying that, mate.
Well, that's what I thought you were thinking. I mean, when we say we don't want Rangers to move, Rangers will have to move if the rest of Europe moves on. And it's only a matter of time, mate. That's all it is, time. Because when we're doing £2.5 million for winning our league, they're Celtic, £2.5 million prize money, and they're spending 60 million to get that title. Where the only way of earning money is the gamble of getting into the Champions League proper. They can't sustain that. We can't sustain that. I think a European league or a British league is the only way forward now. I'll not go back to the good times of the 70s and 80s and 90s. Football's got to move forward like any other sport, and that's the way it'll go in the future.
Ulster.
The only thing that worries me about this is all, then do we have a support, maybe not my era, but the next one? If this was all to happen, we just expect Rangers, to have a good season as they come, I don't know, 4th, 5th, 2nd, because that's what a real great possibility. Because as much as we are a massive club, and we are, then we'd be going into a pool with a lot of other big, massive clubs, and their support will be expecting them to do what they're doing in their own leagues, which is dominating. So I think we need to be careful, moving in these leagues, because, you go, oh yeah, we're getting an extra 20 million a year, but we're winning nothing for 5-6 years, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just enjoy the success of what we have in Scotland. Like, that might be greedy, as a supporter, because you want to go to finals and semi-finals and league titles, etc. I just enjoy that in Scotland. I just think if we move leagues, we're just going to be a cash cow. Yes, we'll be a richer club, but will we be a more prosperous club, as in our trophy room as it is now? I don't know.
But the thing is, mate, if you think back, it was Campbell Ogilvie and Rangers who actually were the architects of, the Champions League. But it's now been, to me, it's been totally undervalued. You can win it and not even win the league in your own country. You know, and you talk,
Yeah.
Fox is rightly talking about this, you know, they're trying to set up a Super League. They're talking about money. It's not about, you know, clubs. You're talking Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, Man United. All the clubs with the money, the massive investment going into them. It's, I think it's boring. I'm sorry, I think it's boring. I'm much more excited about a team. See, like that Leicester winning the league a couple of seasons ago. That was fantastic. You know, they were saying, oh, this is great for English football. How? What's changed? Nothing. You're talking about the 4 top teams out of England getting into the Champions League. You know, you're getting into the Champions League for coming fourth. You know, we're the Rangers, the size of club we've got. And if you come second, you're no getting in. You know, and even if you win the league, you're having to go through all the qualifiers. It's unbelievable. And I think that's where things all fall down. We were talking about the introduction of financial fair play. It's been a nonsense. Absolute nonsense. It's no changed a thing, Fox.
No, I know at the bigger clubs it isn't it? No. But I mean, it gets down to what you want to watch as a spectacle, mate. If it was a British league, for instance, would you rather watch Rangers Livingston or Rangers Derby County? Or Rangers Nottingham Forest against Rangers and Hamilton? Come on, football's moving on. I think we've got a tremendous worldwide support. I don't think it'll change. I think the club will always be backed by its fans. And we've went a few years, mate, without winning nothing, and it's no altered anything at Ibrox. We're still selling out the stadium. More competition. I mean, European nights is a thing we all love. But what would it be like if we were playing Feyenoord 1 week, Ajax the next, a Belgian side, a Norwegian side every other week, mate? I think we would still get 50,000. Only the prize money would be better, the TV coverage money would be better, sponsorship would be better. It's the way forward. Because if we don't, we'll just stagnate and we'll end up in trouble, and so will the Tims as well, mate, if we don't move into something like that.
Shadow?
Totally agree. I think, you know, if this thing goes ahead, then we've got to move as well, because the Champions League will be no more. They won't, and the same with the Europa League. If they set up these leagues, I reckon both of them are going to go. What's going to come in their place? And without that money, you're relying on the, what was it, £2.5 million first prize for winning the Premier League. That's the you know, all right, we've got all the money, you know, the Bears pump in, week out, and season tickets and whatnot, and merchandising, hopefully by that time. But without the extra money that we could get in from Europe, we've already seen that this season what difference that's made to us in the Europa League. I think it's going to severely affect us if we don't move on to something else as well. So I think there's a big changes coming up in football for me on the horizon within the next 5 years or so.
Interesting. I don't know if the Rangers or Celtic that's discussing it with anybody though, with you for anything else.
We're setting, I mean, if you look at the changes at the club, mate, if we're looking forward, which we are doing, we're upgrading all our facilities, upgrading all our coaching, scouting. That's not to just benefit in Scottish football, mate. That's to benefit us going forward. And Steven Gerrard was brought here. He put Rangers back in the map. And maybe it's all a big build up to it. Maybe it'll be as into 2025, 2030 before this happens, but it'll definitely happen.
Well, TV will drive it, Foxy.
Aye. And as for the Super League, mate, if you watch the Champions League games tonight, there'll be games that they'll hardly have a crowd in them. It's not the big thing that they thought. The fans loved it at first because you were seeing all these players, but we see them all every week now. And it's not the same draw. And I don't know how the Super League will end up, if it does end up, what it'll be like. Will it be supported more as a TV audience than a fan base? Because I think the Champions League is losing attendances every year, if you ask me, you know.
Because it's the same teams that are contesting it, mate.
Aye, that's what I'm
You can
saying.
practically fit them, Ulster.
Yeah, but then I don't know. I could be just be naive. You know what I mean? And wanting to stay where we are. Maybe that's a bad move for Rangers. I just think I know where Foxy's coming from there. If you're playing the Belgium side or you're playing Ajax or Feyenoord or but maybe like the Champions League, that can lose a sparkle as well. Because you're playing them all the time. I know European nights are amazing because we've waited so long and we're so excited to get those European nights back because it's something we've missed out on for so long. If you have it all the time, do you bring a good away support all the time? Can people always? I know we do it in different because we've 3 games away from home. We know where we're going. It's not new to us, but it's something we've missed out on a long time. So we get good support away. If you're playing these teams week in, week out, can people afford to go and the hundreds and thousands to travel these places every other week? I don't know. But I get what the point is. It's the same as the Premier League. Manchester United, for me, growing up, one of the top clubs, success for them was winning. If they didn't win the league, Alex Ferguson was raging, and they were all downbeat. Now, if they become 3rd or 4th, they'll take it, they accept it, because it's some sort of achievement for them coming forth because they get into the Champions League. And that's just the way football is now, unfortunately.
Aye, that's a fact, but I wonder what the end game is. One of the best seasons I remember I enjoyed most of all was 92-93, when we that run Marseille, CSK, Moscow and Bruges, I remember in the group, the Leeds game, all that kind of stuff. What a year that was fantastic. But then I think back to 67, 2 teams for Glasgow contesting both European finals. And that's what worries me. How can we never get back that level of football again? Because we were renowned world over, in terms of, our stature and our playing ability and everything else. That's... I yearn for the days, guys, when we had great teams. And I thought they were great teams. So I say, I think it has been done since, but 2 teams for the one side contesting both European finals. We need to get Wayne's back playing at football again. We need to get away with this negative football. I think there's too much coaching in the game and all. Far too much coaching. Let boys go out and try and beat 20 men, 20-a-side games. Get Wayne's playing all the time. It's money. The new supporter, I know I keep saying it on here. It's not your guy that buys his season ticket and gets up with the game every week. It's a guy sitting in the house taking the Sky TV package or the BT package. They're the guys who are paying it. They're putting the money into Sky and BT so they can buy it to the clubs. That's the problem now I think we've got. MD?
Well, it's not just in this country. I mean, you see on the news all the time, all these football strips all the way around the world. Man United sell strips from Japan to across the United States. It's all the way across the globe. And presumably the TV networks are selling their TV packages across the globe as well. So I think that's going to be a tough one to compete against. Do we have to invest before we could get a better deal from the TV companies, or do the TV companies invest and we can invest in our own teams? It's a tough one to call because especially when they're trying to when it looks like they're trying to manoeuvre to push to these new leagues that Fox was talking about a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
The same old driver, Blue Shadow, the TV companies. I mean, when you think about even Sky now are losing out, mate. They're getting being bypassed with the likes of Amazon and Netflix now, who are going to come in and take these big Super League that's going to come on. And there will be room, mate. Sky's losing badly out of its football coverage now. And they'll be looking for something to sponsor themselves and get TV back on Sky TV that matters. They will push the changes in football. And I think it will come through. Hold on, I'm just going to bring Cairo in here. Right, sorry about that. Do you know what I mean? It's the TV companies, obviously, that's going to drive it.
I'll tell you, I think all that's happened with the money, folks, is it's went into the clubs. They're getting massive TV money, but do you know what they're doing with it? They're paying massive amounts for average players. But anyway, welcome to the show, Cairo. How you doing? You keeping a bit better?
I'm keeping a bit better, buddy. Aye, I'm keeping a bit better. A couple of things, just sweet. Hello, how you doing, Ulster? Just a couple of things. I was listening to Ruud Gullit the other night. He was lauding the fact that if you look at Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City and these teams, a couple of either strong players in the middle of midfield and they get wee players out and the running round about them playing all the fast football and all that type of thing, the way Barcelona played basically. And he says that's because when he played you had to jump hurdles every time you beat a player. And that's him in the 90s, so it wasn't as bad as in the 90s it was in the 70s. But he's saying the way they've got these guys protected now, they can play football, and that's how they're winning. And if you think of Scottish football, we've still got these big bruisers. I mean, not just big bruisers, but that's all they are. You know, you've got big hammer throwers in the middle of the park, so you'll never ever attract the kind of player that you're going to get. I never ever see Rangers or Celtic unless they go to this league doing anything. And even if this new European thing does come off, I don't think we've got the wherewithal about, and them as well, about us to go and compete with the likes of the teams that have been doing it for the last 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So as long as we're in this league, we'll never get out it. I don't know what we do to get in it. And I think the money that's gone, once the skies and out of this world start to lose money in TV, then I think football's fucked anyway. So they have to keep regenerating things, and the big clubs are only going to get greedier and greedier. And the clubs aren't really making that much money. The money all goes to the players. So if you're making, if you're a club that's making £200 million, you're paying out £199 million in wages. If you're making £100 million, you're paying out £99 million. If you're making £10 million, you're paying out £9 million. So the only focus winning in this is the players. So I didn't buy Sky now. I never ever bought Sky. More and more folk are turning off it, and more and more folk, as you say, they've seen these players now. It's not once in a sort of a once every 3 or 4 seasons. You're seeing these teams coming. You're seeing them all the time on the telly now. So it's no new to see the likes of all these players, especially when most of them are actually playing in the English Premier League as well.
Well, that's the thing, Cairo. You go back even to the '66 World Cup. You were ranting about Pelé. Because you couldn't see him every week. You couldn't go into YouTube and watch him every week. You're ranting and raving about Eusebio and all.
Yeah.
Players like that, they were legendary when you were away, when you were younger. These guys were legendary, but they're on you can be on your telly 24/7 now, mate.
That's right. Even the likes of George Best and that. I mean, I went to see Hibs and St Mirren, St Paisley, when George Best played with the Hibs. Just to see George Best, because I hadn't seen him live, So I went to see him. I'd seen him playing for Northern Ireland against Scotland, that's a lie. But I went to see him at the Indies thing when he was playing for Hibernian, aye. And you're right, you've seen these players once every so often, and if you played against an English team, you went to it because you wanted to see whoever the star that was playing in that team at the time. I remember going to see Liverpool, down at Liverpool, because it was, you had the likes of Souness and that playing for them, and it was just a nondescript game I went into. So, that was the type of thing that I even remember doing the likes of Moffat every other week, the first couple of times when you started to see English football live on the telly on a Sunday. Because you're seeing these players, but you're seeing them all the time now, so that's sort of a drive, so they've got to keep regenerating it. If I was the Premier League, why would you want to sit? Why would you want to do anything different? Because you're selling a product to the world. It's never ever going to drip down to Scottish football, because we're a two-horse race. The football's crap. You're not watching the same level of football, and the football we are playing sort of a 1980s football when you've got all these hammer throwers playing for these other teams.
I couldn't disagree with that much, but you're right. I remember the days there used to be a procession going down at the Ayrshire Coast to watch a game, where they could pick up, other channels and things.
First place in the Borders, true. First place in the Borders. We went to Moffat.
Aye, but that's a common thing, when there was a big game on, they would go down there. But I mind Archie McPherson saying years ago, too much TV will kill the game. Now, particularly in England, they're reaping the rewards at the minute, the TV money. But some of you guys say, you know, you've got Amazon coming in now, you've got people like that. You know, if that money gets withdrawn for their game, you know, how many of these big oligarchs they think are going to hang about pouring billions into a football club? It's costing them. It's not going to happen. I think the game's in great danger where, you know, when we've went down there and all the eggs are in one basket.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a fact. And that thing that they said about, you know, when King took over, he said we'll never have one man in charge of the Rangers again. You know, I think that's a good philosophy, but it ain't going to happen. They're always going to need somebody with the money there.
You need somebody that has the power to make a decision at the end of the day, Shadow, eh?
Well, there is that, but I think you just skirted across the edge of it there, True. I mean, the fact is, if we get these, as Fox was saying earlier, this is going to be driven by the TV companies. And Kyra was saying there, why would these clubs in the English Premiership do it? Well, if they turn around and say, well, we're stopping this contract in 2020, are you coming to this league that we're sponsoring in the future? A lot of these clubs aren't going to have a choice because I know some of the debts have reduced, like Man United's debt's reduced, but I think they're still well over $500 million in debt. So it's just like they've got to go with it. They can't afford to say no because they don't know where they're getting the money from elsewhere. So I think that's what will be. The TV companies will drive it.
Aye, also.
The TV has a lot to say on it. There's no doubt about it. You know, because obviously I've grown up in an era where Sky was, you know, starting, etc. I've only ever sort of known it. I know you guys are different. You guys remember times where you would have heard about legends more and reading about them and different things maybe on the news, but you maybe wouldn't have got to see them. Whether I've grown up where you can always watch the different teams and TV, and has always been a big part of football for my sort of era. I think the only thing is with what Blue Shadow saying there, you know, I know what you mean. They could try and, well, it's not, well, it is blackmail in a way, isn't it? Like, we'll just going to put a plug here. You need to move over to this. But I think if the clubs like United, well, all the top English clubs says no, it's not for us. We're staying here. You know, I couldn't see the TV pulling out of a deal because of it still want to show your Manchester United's and Liverpool's, etc. You know, but I think the greed's there. You know, that if there's a chance of making in a couple of extra quid somewhere else, there's no doubt those big clubs in England, Germany, etc. will go for it. It's just the only problem is then, you know, they're leaving behind the clubs that maybe don't have as big a draw. You know, your Evertons, etc., who are still big clubs, but maybe just not elite size clubs. And that would be unfortunate for those teams. You know, I still think they've got a duty to some of the teams in their own league. You know, maybe just to be careful you don't just jump ship and leave all these clubs hanging.
Aye, well, it's irresponsible the amount of debt these clubs have got. They're carrying at the minute anyway. But anyway, the last word on that point to use, Foxy.
I have nothing more to say on it, pal. Should just move on for me.
Alright, well, Marston's nipping our heat. Any chance, lads, we can talk about the massive game on Thursday? Cairo, any thoughts about Thursday night? Spartak Moscow away?
Looking forward to it. Don't know how it'll go. I've gave up predicting. I'm no a predictor anymore. The last 3 or 4 games have just been horrendous. My predictions would have been AWOL. So I'm not going to predict. I'm looking forward to the game to see what we can do, see if we can change our style, see if we can do something away from him and give something to shout about this time. Depends who team turns up.
Aye. Well, it depends the way they line up against us, I think, Ulster, eh?
Yeah, definitely. There's no doubt the Russians are going to come out. You know, it's home game for them, so they're definitely going to come out. We need to be good in defence for a start, I think, and hopefully catch on the counter, which we have done. We've done it against Villarreal. We've done it very, very well, actually. We executed our counters very, very well, and we defended when we had to. So I think that's what we need to do again in Spartak. Might be a tough ask, though. You know, we've done well so far to be undefeated. You know, and if it's a close game and we lose, I'll be disappointed. You know what I mean? But I know it's going to be a tough game for the team. Hopefully they can get a good performance in. And I think a guy we were talking about earlier, Koulibaly, I think if he does play, he'll be pivotal. He'll have to you show the sort of form that he showed in the early European games, and if he can help, defence out in the defence, centre defence mid role, maybe with Jack, maybe he'll have two sitting, I don't know, and hopefully we can be strong, counter attack, and hopefully we can get something out of the game.
As I was saying, it depends what teams turns up. Also, if we play a high press, if we play a pressing game and don't give them time, and Koulibaly gets a chance to play, and Morelos, if he's playing, gets a chance to hold the ball up a wee bit to give defence some respite, and the defence plays well, and then it depends how they come out and how they're lined up and how they play. If they play the way they played in Villarreal, I'd be over the moon. But if they play the way they played against Livingston, the way they played last week in the cup final, that there didn't seem to be any drive, energy, any drive and pushing and getting in their faces and that pressing game. It's going to. I'm fearful.
Shadow.
Yeah, for me, it was. I was quite concerned because I thought with them changing their manager and all these players they'd left behind when they came across to us, I thought, as I could see us struggling across there, and I said that to several people. But having looked at the results they've had over the last few games, they've hardly been setting Heather on fire either. So I've just absolutely no idea which way this one's going to go. I reckon if we come back with a draw, that'll be a decent result for us. If we can do any better than that, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But I probably reckon we'll go out with it'll go out with two holding midfielders, possibly a Jarry in front of them, and it'll be the usual hard. Candeias always plays. It seems to play in Europe, which is not a bad idea because he might be getting a 1-game suspension coming up. We don't know yet. Morelos and Kent as well. You can pretty much see it's nailed on with them. But I think the only big question is who's going to play left back.
Hi, Foxy.
Really looking forward to it, mate. There's no pressure on us going there. I hope we go out and play to the best of our ability. If it's good enough to win or get a draw, I'll be happy with that. As long as we play to our best. As I say, we've been under pressure in our league games. The pressure has really been on us for must-win games. This is a game to nothing for me. And I hope we go out and really try and show our quality in the game. And hopefully, as somebody said earlier on, that we play like Villarreal with no fear, with nothing to lose. Go out there and have a good go at it. If we win, we could put a foot into the next round. If we lose, it's not a disaster. And I hope we play to our potential and don't sit back, mate, and have a go at them.
I think they'll allow us, Fox. I'm no fearful about it at all. I think the thing is with Spartak Moscow at home, they'll need to come out and play at football. They're quite defensive at Ibrox, and I don't think that suits us. I think it suits us better when they come out and try and play us, and it lets us play, It's just rightly pointed out, and they pressure on Rangers. Don't get me wrong, it'd be nice, to qualify for the group stages. Man, that'd be a miracle, considering where we came from at the start of the season. But I think we'll be allowed to play Cairo.
Well, they'll have to come out anyway, so they're playing at home, so I think they'll play a more open game than they played. They play at Ibrox kind of thing. I think I'm not saying I'm fearful. I'm just hoping, as Fox says, if they play their potential like we played in Villarreal, then it'll be a good evening for us. We'll be able to sit and enjoy, even if we get beat. No pressure on us. I hope we don't get beat, obviously, but it's going to be a hard game for us if we play the way we've played in a couple of our league games, and we haven't get that energy. We don't have that drive, that passion. We're not in their faces. We don't have Koulibaly running about the place. We don't have Candeias getting in and getting tackles in. Whoever we're playing across that middle of the park, we've got to get in there and get some pressing.
Also,
yeah, I don't think we'll play like we do against Livingston. I know Cairo's coming from the performances, but I think that's just due to the way they have set up against us, and we've struggled to break them down. And we get really frustrated with that because we demand 3 points everywhere in the league. I think Spartak will definitely play a bit of football. They'll be a lot more attacking than what they were because their home support's going to demand that they attack, and they haven't been that great. They've had another defeat there in the league, I think, so the fans their own support's getting a wee bit annoyed themselves, so they'll be demanding a good performance. Hopefully that plays into our hands, because I think we've proved this season already when teams attack us and we are counter-attacking, we can be very, very good. When the space is there, we make good decisions and we can punish these teams. We've proved it time and time again this season. So bring on the Spartak, let them attack us. Let's see how we get on. I think we can get points out of it, because the Villarreal game, as I say, that was the toughest game for me away from home. It looked like we were dead in the water when they scored early, and then they got another one. We still found a way to come back and get the draw, so there's no reason why we can't go to Spartak and get something.
You're quite right, mate. And I think we've been more positive in Europe, or we've played better in Europe than we have domestically. But anyway, Shadow.
Yeah, for me, I say, I think they will be more positive. They've certainly they've got players in there that are very skillful and dangerous. I think we've got to be well switched on, and you just can't, like we did at Ibrox. I can't remember that lad's name, but he was supposed to be the ball player, and we just shut him down, and he eventually lost the heat and started kicking people. And that's what we've got to do. Just shut. You see, everything seems to go through him, so we just shut him down. Didn't let him play.
Roxy.
As I said earlier, it's definitely a free hit for us. We've got 3 games left to play in the group. We sit top of it. I think a win and a draw would comfortably see us into the next round. I hope they play with no fear, mate. I really do. I hope they go. And if we get beat, we get beat. But have a go, because this could be a big, big step for us. They're in a bit of disarray, although they've got quality in their ranks. Let's have a go. What does it say? Let's go. Let's go. Don't stop. Have a real go. And the fans will no go on their backs for having a go, mate. But I think if we sit back and allow them into the game and try and play for a nothing each, will end up getting murdered. So I hope we play to our best and get a result earlier.
I think we might play like that, Fox, the first 10-20 minutes. I'll tell you why. Their manager has come out and given the support pelters. He reckons they're trying to wreck the club, according to the papers. They're peltering the team. Apparently they've not been playing well at all, and if we can hold them for about 20 minutes, their crowd will turn on them, mate, and then we can start playing, I don't know if Stevie G will see it like that, but it is a possibility. But like yourself, mate, I don't think we'll go out there and sit back, and we'll certainly not do it for the full game. They'll need to come out, because the onus is on the home team in the group stages. You've got to pick up points at home, Cairo.
Well, that's always been the golden rule, isn't it? If you win your points at home, then salvaging a point away, you're guaranteed to get through, but almost guaranteed to get through. But if you get your points at home, that sort of sews up, takes the pressure off you away from home, and you can go and try and do some things. So, they've got to come out. I must admit, they've got to come out. So that probably will help us. Again, I still say that we've got to be our best, but we're at our best, and that's sort of I don't know if we'll be our best or we'll not be our best. Normally if you're in a high and you've had 2 or 3 games, you're going forward, you're looking into it. Sometimes we say we're a wee bit too optimistic. I'm not optimistic with this. I'm looking forward to the game, and if we turn up, it'll be a great night. If we don't turn up, it'll be a hard night for us. So, it's that lack of consistency that we have that's the big worry for me. But then, them coming out, they'll have to come out, as you say, because they're at home. They'll be trying to. Now, I don't know their domestic situation. I know they've not been setting the head on fire. But if they've got that turmoil going in the background, that's going to affect their players as well, I hope. So that might be a wee sort of a 11.5 man, if you like. A wee half man sitting there that could pop its head up if their supporters start to go in their back, kind of thing. That would be a bonus for us, I think. But I don't think we need to depend on that. I think it's up to us. Play our game, play the way we played in Villarreal, then we'll have a great chance, because they have got to come out. So it'll be a looser game than it was at Ibrox, I think.
Well, they sacked their manager the week before they played us, mate, the Ibrox, and then they've got their fitness trainer running the team. And apparently the supporters gone ballistic, But don't have any fears about us playing in Europe, mate. I'm more confident of us playing in Europe than I am domestically at the minute, Ulster.
Aye, well, I think we've turned up in the big European games, but I think it comes again because of the way they're setting themselves up, and it plays into our hand because we can, as we said earlier, we can counter-attack pretty well, Hopefully it's a wee bit like what Ibrox can be, if the support can be amazing. I'm sure theirs will be good support as well, but if you can take control of the game, especially with them being in a wee bit of turmoil, they're already disgruntled. So if we can sort of, maybe the first 10-15 minutes, just contain them, make sure we don't concede, start growing into the game, start to chip away at them, and you'll see and hear their fans starting to get a wee bit peed off, you know what I mean? And hopefully we can play on that, that's what we need to try and do, but it's going to be tough. All the players are going to have to turn up. If you don't turn up, if full 11 don't turn up, it'll be much, much harder. So if everybody plays to the ability that they've shown us in games in this season already in Europe, I think we can have a successful night. But as I say, it's all about how we play, isn't it?
I definitely made some good points there, Blue Shadow.
That's some excellent points, but I think the key one is there's no pressure on us. For me, at all. And I hope the lads feel the same way, because and go out there and express themselves and have a there's nothing to lose. Stevie Gerrard says there's nothing to lose, lads. Go out there, just play football, play the football the way I showed you how to do it. Let's go out there. There's nothing to win, or there's no pressure. Go and be the players that I know you can be, and they go out there and deliver a result and come back feeling a whole load better, and hopefully we'll lead into the weekend and we'll smash that Motherwell to pieces on Sunday.
Aye, that would be nice, Fox?
Aye, it would, mate. Mate, I had fears when we went to Maribor. We came through that. I had fears when we were only 1-0 going to Ufa. We came through that with 9 men. We got a result in Villarreal that nobody was expecting, and I hope this is another surprise for us. A wee 1-0 would be an absolutely tremendous result for us, and wouldn't it be fun if we were to qualify and name across the city with a £60 million wage bill failed? That would be
They've got the disco lights and lawyers to pay for, Fox, don't forget.
I think you're right, Fox. And for me, I mean, the other thing for me is that I'm honestly looking at Europe as a bonus. My key, primary, number one priority is the league. So they should go out there on Thursday and say, look, there isn't any pressure on us here. Let's show what we can do. So that's how I don't know how the players see it, but I'd love to be playing in Europe if I was a player. If I was a player, that's what I used to love the cup games that come round once every now and again, rather as a league. The league's the manager's responsibility for getting us through the league and picking the teams to win it. So the players that are picked for this week shouldn't have any pressure on them. They should go and try and show themselves. That's the best stage in the world, isn't it?
I want to see you forward my positivity there, Cairo.
On that point, gentlemen, we've come to that time of night again. So I'd like to thank yourself, Cairo, Big Ulster, Blue Shadow, bailing us out all week, and our Fox doing the technicals in the background, everybody listening on YouTube, everybody on Twitter, and the crazy bears in the lobby. Good night, everybody. We'll be back on tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. This has been Rangers Radio. Good night, all.
I sailed the wild Atlantic, across the broad Pacific shore. I sailed around the stormy capes and I've heard the forties roar. I climbed the Indian Ocean and I sailed the China Sea, but there's a sea back home in Scotland more than all the rest of me. It's the